you want to have a cup of coffee before you get... Oh, no, we'll deal with you. Paul, welcome.
Thank you, councillors. So, draw your attention to page 13. We've got two Part A items, but you've already dealt with the first one in deciding against STV. So my information is you can't go back on that as much as we'd like you to. So to item 1.2, the board received legal advice that the approval of the council would be required for community boards to make submission on the draft district plan, and the board decided to request the council's approval. So just a few points. The RMA and the Order in Council around the district plan review provide for community boards to submit on the proposed plan, and nothing in the district plan review process prevents or raises any issues with any such submission. The Local Government Act does not prevent community boards from submitting, and considering that it can be performed by any person, there is an argument to say that it doesn't actually require the consent of council for community boards to submit, but I think that would be the easiest way to go about it. I don't think the council has given any sufficient explanation as to how restricting community boards would enable us to perform our function under Clause 32, Schedule 7 of the LGA. I mean, it's simply current council policy that prevents us from doing it. And finally, that community boards were created by Parliament to advocate for the communities, and council should not attempt to frustrate their function without very compelling overriding reasons. So I urge you please to support community boards as a whole, all of us being able to make submissions on the district plan review to the government appointed commissioners.
So to approve community boards making submissions on behalf of their communities to the district plan review hearings panel. Is that right? Was I right in guessing that? Okay, good. Is there any discussion on that? If not, can I put that? Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, carried.
All right, thank you very much.
How amenable was that, council?
Excellent, and I'm sure that my fellow chairs, who all agreed to ask this at the last chair's meeting that we could, will be very pleased.
Yes, it comes up in a number of other reports. Yep. Okay.
So there's just in this report there's just Part B items. There's some issues. I know you're pressed for time, so I won't raise them here. A number of issues. Would you like me to move on to the next report?
No, I'm very willing for people to have questions and things like that. I'm just assuming, given that we're not going to change the rest of A, that's the whole of Part A now dealt with. The whole
of that particular report?
Yeah.
Yes, there's no other Part A item. There is a PX item, which I guess you'll have to deal with later. No problem.
And we won't do that. Yeah. I don't need to move anything else in Part A.
This one's already been voted on, and that one's we've just...
Yeah, well, we can't change that.
Done.
Yeah, so we've done that one. Okay. Okay, Part B.
So, Part B, I just draw your attention to 4.2. The community board would like to know whether we could use heavy traffic restrictions on Centaurus Road. I know it's the backup for Brougham Street, but we're currently having trucks do things like drive over roundabouts and things like that, so that the board is interested to know how we might be able to use heavy traffic restrictions.
Right.
And 4.3, just council board noted the council's importance as a housing provider of last resort and continues to support the council's role in that and commends the staff. And also continued frustration around the lack of a parking permit process. And the last advice we had is that the decision around that process was some time away, as in next year, like November next year or something. And we've been asking for it for probably for a couple of years now. So it would be great if that could be sped up. And finally, item number 10, on just to note the success of our off the ground fund, which is like a matching fund, which is just like seed funding for. We've brought in the criteria. It used to be earthquake related, but just for community events and initiatives and things like that, up to $250. Very easy application process. yeah, it's been really successful. So, yep.
So that process is
Those are
what?
all the items from that report.
So how do you do that process now?
So that the staff have delegated authority to grant the funding, but it's run past us as a board.
Okay, thank you. Pauline?
Yeah, I just had a question on page 14, item 3.1, the Garlands Road land. What is that currently used for?
So currently it is it's zoned as like outdoor 1, and it was the Scout Den, and it's the old Opawa school site.
Yeah.
And it actually has an old pool underneath. So currently it's a vacant site that the community would very much like to be. It functions as a reserve effectively, and the community would like it to be a reserve, and they would really like there to be a community centre and stuff on it in the future. They're happy to mow it themselves.
That's fantastic. So the board's just requested some advice about that?
Yep. So currently it hasn't been finished yet. Addington Action actually have a lease over that land. Addington Action still have a lease over that land, and there's
How long for? 33 years?
No, there's just a process to go through in order for them to be freed from the obligations of that lease.
Right, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, can I moved, Tim, seconded Phil, that the report as a whole be adopted excluding 1.1, which has already been decided. Put that, those in favour please say aye. Those opposed carried. Can we do the rest of Spreydon Heathcote? Is that okay? So that we can let Paul go to work?